everybody. This is BK International Talent Scout. I'm on the phone lines with Antoinette Michelle, the Urban Girl Travel Update. We're going to be talking about travel update, the Stellar Awards update, and the Stellar Awards will be airing tomorrow at No, the Stellar Awards are airing tomorrow on BET. Annette, what do you think about the Stellar Awards coming on so soon?
I'm glad they're coming on soon, so that we don't have to wait to see them. We've seen some of the videos and the clips, so I'm excited. It's going to be 5 o'clock our time, I believe, or 4:30 our time. So it should be exciting. I'm excited. Definitely excited to see BB and CC because they're the hosts. So I'm interested to see what they're going to sing, and all the other guests. So yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow.
Okay, let's talk about travel update. Do you have any travel updates for us?
Well, it is Labor Day weekend, and so I did a late night post last night on Facebook. If anyone wants to check that out, but it's Labor Day weekend. It's one of the busiest weekends of the year. This is the last weekend of the summer, so there's a lot of people down here in Vegas, a lot of events, a lot of stuff going on in Vegas, and I'm sure other places as well. So the main thing I always tell everybody is just make sure if you are flying, get to the airport early, okay? Make sure you're early, early, early. Because even if you have TSA pre-check, even if you have clear, so does millions of other people. So you're not the only one. Airports are running short staff. TSA is running short staff. So you need to be there early, be checked in. If you can check in ahead of time. If you are having any trouble, any issues checking in, you want to go extra early. But there's still 2 hours for domestic, 3 hours for international. Even if you're starting places like Vegas to LA to Taipei or the Philippines or somewhere, you still need to be at the airport at least 3 hours ahead, just in case there's some kind of glitch with your passport or anything. So, like I said, the key is to be early. And as I always say, pack your patience. This is going to be another weekend to pack your patience.
Okay, talk about TSA pre-check. What is it? Talk about TSA pre-check, global re-entry. How does that help your traveling experience?
Well, TSA pre-check is, where you pay, I think it's $120 or something. You pay where you can go avoid the lines. You don't have to take off your shoes and all that stuff. But now, no matter now, you don't have to take off your shoes any lane unless you have metal or something like that in your shoes. But, they did change that a couple months ago that now you do not have to take off your shoes anyway now. But TSA is for the pre-check, yes, to avoid that line, get you through TSA faster. Global entry is if you're going international. So if you do a lot of international travel, that's global entry, where you still need to pay that as well. And lets you avoid the lines when you're coming back into the country from international travel. So that's the difference between those two. But I will tell you, as some people are finding out, both of those are not 100% guaranteed. Okay, in the little tiny print, it tells you it's not 100% guaranteed. TSA can flag you. The number cannot work sometimes, and airlines have nothing to do with the TSA pre-check numbers. Global entry, we do not have anything to do with that. That is, if you're having problems with that, you're going to have to check with the TSA, okay? If your number does not show on there, yes, we can try putting it on there. But if it doesn't work, that has nothing to do with us. So if you check in online, you have your QR code on your phone. If you see the green check on the top of the QR code, that's usually where it's at. That means your pre-check is in the system. If you have a paper boarding pass, depending on where it's at, on ours, Alaska Airlines, It is at the top in the left-hand corner, TSA PreCheck. So you want to look for those things before you go all the way to the TSA PreCheck line and get up there and don't have the global entry showing. So that's what the global entry in TSA is, and that's what the difference.
Okay, let's take it on a personal level. What are your international travel aspirations?
Me, where do I
Yeah,
want to
like,
go?
yes.
Well, you already know Paris is at the top of my list. Paris has always been the top of my list of places I want to go. Hopefully I'll try it again this year. I tried last year for my 60th birthday, and it did happen because my aunt passed, so I didn't do it last year. Birthday's next week. Vacation coming. I'm still on the fence if I'm gonna try to go this year, at least right now, or put off later. But Paris is always one. Italy has always been at the top of the list as well. Um, my
Tell us
favorite place so
about
far is
Cabo.
Oh
Tell
yeah, I
us
was just
about
about to say, Cabo is my newfound place. Okay, I love me some Maui. Now Maui is my place too, but when I started going to Cabo, Cabo kind of took a little edge over Maui, but they're both beautiful places. But yes, I love going to Cabo. It is safe. Like any other place, there's bad people everywhere. So I wouldn't not travel to Kabul or anything, any place really. I mean, I'm encouraging people to travel. You need to get out of the country, even though I know this crazy stuff is going on in the world today. So I'm not necessarily sure if this still is a good time right now. But as long as you have the things you need to get back into the country, prove you're a resident of this country besides your passport. I've been telling people if you're going out of the country, really, if you're going anywhere these days, make sure you take a piece of mail, something that has your address on it, your name, your current legal name on it, your address, where you live, like a utility bill or something like that. Just make sure you keep those kind of things on you these days, just in case you have to prove that you are a citizen besides the real ID and the passport. You may just need something else. But those are my favorite places right now. Like I said, Paris, Italy, Amsterdam is on the list. Um, Puerto Vallarta, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. Those are places that you can travel and you don't need a passport to, because that's still part of the U.S. So anybody want to travel and go to beautiful island and stuff where you don't need a passport, if you don't have a passport, check out the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. So the Virgin are the so the so how do you go to the Virgin Islands? Do you need a
Um,
passport to go to
well,
the
I think
Virgin Islands?
no, and my brain is, I'm trying to make sure I said the right place, but I know Puerto Rico, you don't need a passport. Let me just clarify that. Puerto Rico, you don't have to have a passport to go to. Um, but like I said, these days, I would encourage everyone to get your passport. Okay, get your passport. That's just going to be, um, you know, better to travel with. Now, I just did mine. I expedited mine because I thought I had did it and I realized I didn't, and I needed it for this birthday. Surprisingly, it only took me 2 weeks to get it back. Yeah, I went to got the paperwork. You can get the paperwork. The post office gave me the address, but there's different post offices where you can go get the application. You can go to Walgreens, CVS, or any place like that. Get the passport picture. It cost me $18 for two pictures. That you need to go with the application. You need your old passport, or if you don't have a passport, your birth certificate, and it tells you the list of things you can send. And with that, they send it back to you. And like I said, it only took me 2 weeks, but I did have to pay the extra to get it expedited. And it was about $210 to get it expedited. So just keep that in mind. There is a fee for the passport. And if you plan on a trip soon, it will cost you extra.
Okay, and back to one point that's like seems like to be so important. We actually have to have a piece of mail. So would that be our light bill, our internet bill,
Well, you don't
our
have to have
phone
that.
bill?
You don't have to have that. I'm just saying, because of people getting flagged, people getting pulled aside to prove that they're citizens in this country coming back, or just even on the streets. I'm just saying, as a personal thing, just to make sure you have some kind of proof on you. If you don't have your passport, like I said, or even if you're traveling and you do have your passport, you still need to have something showing. It's just good to have something extra to show a current bill, a current, something like I said, your mail with your address on it, with your legal name on it. So that's just my extra travel tip.
Okay, our last travel question is what's the difference between a passport card, and a passport book?
Well, passport book is where you can go to different countries. Passport card is just an ID. The nice thing about the passport book is when you travel to different countries, they have all these blank pages in it. I didn't know you were going to ask me so many questions about this, as I would have had my handy. But in the passport book, there's lots of places where pages where you can get stamps. Now, I seen somebody the other week was complaining and saying they were bummed that they're not doing stamps anymore. You can still ask for stamps. They're not gonna, for some reason, they're not volunteering to do the stamps, the passports now. Um, but I think it's just because of time. But you can always ask if you're going out of the country and coming back. You just when you come back and you show your passport, just say, "Hey, do you mind if I get a stamp?" Or if you're going to another, "Hey, do you mind if I get a stamp in my passport?" And that's how you get the stamps for the passport books.
Okay, let's talk about fan favorites. Who was your fan favorite for the Stellar Awards this year?
Well, like I said from the beginning, I'm a BB and CC fan. Okay, so I always have been. So of course, it was good to see BB and CC. Pastor Mike. I've become a fan of Pastor Mike since you and I went to the Stellars the last couple of years. I love Pastor Mike. I love SY Younger. And oh my God, do I love me some Dietrich, okay?
You
Always
like
have been
Dietrich
a Dietrich.
Hatton?
Always have been a Dietrich Haddon fan. I love Dietrich. My kids kind of grew up on Dietrich and Tone when they, were first starting. So I love Tone. Beat Slade is what he's going by now, but for sure, Dietrich and Demita. I love me some Demita. Her and Alex, actually, my daughter, they actually connected a few years back. So Demita is just like another daughter to me, auntie to Alex. So, but yeah, those were the faves. And it's still always the usual. The Clark sisters. Um, so yeah.
Okay, how did you feel about Lisa Page Brooks winning the Stellar Award? And we all know condolences to her and her family. She lost her husband, Bishop Michael Brooks. What do you feel about Lisa Page Brooks performing and also receiving the Stellar Awards?
Well, I think it was a good thing. She got honored for her work. She was singing before she married, Bishop Michael, as I call him. Back in the day, we're friends with Commission. Put it like that. we
Yeah,
hung
we
out
know all
with Fred and
about
those guys when they
commission.
were young. Right, right. So Michael B and other Michael Williams. Those are guys. We got stories from Seattle with them. So
We got
love Commission,
stories.
right? Love Commission. So, but yeah, that was good. For her family. I haven't really seen the performance, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing to watch. But I'm sure that's just something that she needed to to receive. So yeah, congratulations to her.
All right. We got a couple of more questions for Net because she gotta go. But talk to us about your BB Winans experience on Instagram and how he always responds to some of the stuff you send, and why what is it about following people on Instagram that you like?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just BB, but BB responds to a lot of people, which is one of the things that I like, and you already know that is my pet peeve is going to these events and especially award shows and things like that, these meet and greets, these media days and things like that, where you go to these things and a lot of artists don't even take the time to talk to the people. And this is just not the Stellar Awards; it's just in general. But my feeling is like this. You know, um, we are the ones that have made some of these people to get to the levels that they are. So the fact that some people feel like they don't have time to take a picture with you, they don't have time to speak to you, things like that, then that's my pet peeve. But it is nice when people can just interact with their fans and people, whether it's online or like I say in person. When you see somebody out, it doesn't hurt just to say hi to somebody and hey, take a quick picture with somebody. You never know how that's going to make somebody feel, in life. But at the same time, we know that still people do have their lives and things like that. And I was at church a few Sundays ago, and I'm not going to mention her name, but one of the ladies, I told you about her. She's a celebrity, and somebody was trying to talk to her in church, and she was like, "Oh no, no, no." She's like, "I don't talk business in church. I don't take pictures in church. Everything I do is outside of church. It got to be outside of church." And so, that you can respect when people are in church or they're, out with their families and things like that, then that's you can respect. But I feel like I said, when people are hosting events that are for the public but don't take time to talk to their fans and things like that, then that's more what I have a problem with. So that's about it.
Yeah, so my perspective and my experience this year, I was at the host hotel, so I got a chance to meet Lisa Page Brooks. I'm really shy about taking pictures, but I'm trying. But Lisa Page Brooks gave me a hug. That made me feel good. I talked to Pastor Shirley Caesar. She gave me a hug and invited me to her church. I hugged Marette Brown Clark. Let's see, I gave a fist bump to a couple of artists. Oh, and then you got a chance to talk to Percy Beatty. Remember that?
I did talk to Percy on the phone. Thank you. Because Percy is family. Percy is
Yeah.
family. So yeah, and that's one thing I love about Percy. He's one of those too that will talk to you. No matter where you are, he's always going to stop and say hi. If he can't hold a conversation, that is fine. Like even when you were talking to him, he was talking to somebody, but I heard him. He was just like, "Hold on a sec, let me finish." And then he was talking to you, and then he got on the phone and said hi. So that kind of stuff, I'm cool with. But yes, it was great talking to Percy and catching up with him. But like I said, he's family to us. So, but I'm glad you had a good time meeting people. Got to talk to some people that we didn't get to talk to last year and the year before. So,
Right.
so,
Right.
so that's good. I'm glad you coming out of your shell, taking pictures with people. Because I see you got me on this camera by myself. So,
Yeah, I'm working on it. Okay,
right,
so
right.
before we close, what's happening in and around Las Vegas this weekend and coming up?
Yeah, see, I don't have my notes, but I told you it's a little late for tonight. But tonight was Gerald Albright was in town, 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock at the Smith Center. I mean, I guess it's still only 7 o'clock here. So if anybody's in Vegas, Gerald Albright's doing shows here. Like I said, 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock. We missed the 5, so 8 o'clock is left. And this is in the Smith Center, but this is in the smaller side that's called Myron's, okay? Because there is a big Smith Center, like um, theater, like symphony
Oh,
places,
okay.
the larger side. Okay, but
Right.
the more intimate side, like jazz alley, maybe not even that big. That's where Gerald Albright is going to be doing a show at 8 o'clock. They did say if you want to come down there and see if people do not claim their tickets, they may have some. But over on the other side, in the main part of the Smith Center tonight, is Dave Cons and the band, the saxophone players, all
Oh
the
yeah,
horns.
yeah. You were
Dave Cos
talking
and the
about that.
guys that are the other jazz artists that play horns. They're over there in the main Smith Center. So you probably still got time for that. I'm sure. I mean, I'm not sure, but that's a larger venue, so they may have some more tickets to that. Just in local stuff, yes, there's a lot of stuff going on. The usual places, Mariposa is having stuff all weekend, I'm sure. That's out here in Decatur. There's a lot of
Oh,
artists in
Mariposa
town.
moved. Mariposa moved to
No,
Decatur.
Mariposa, no, Mariposa didn't move. That's where Mariposa been. What moved was Blue Martini. Blue Martini closed down. So there's no more Blue Martini. For those of you who are familiar with Vegas, Blue Martini used to be in the town center. That used to be the spot on Sunday nights, but that's closed down because they're going to relocate on the strip in 2026. So we'll see how that's going. I can tell you right now, a lot of the locals are not happy about that because for those of us, we have to pay parking and that's strip parking, and we guarantee you the price is going to be much higher than they were. So we'll see how that works out. But now everybody's kind of been shifting to Mariposa. So Friday nights, Sunday nights is Uncle Ken, and the band. They do have a gospel brunch on Sundays. You can look that up. Not Mariposa, but Uncle Ken does a gospel brunch on Sundays. Mariposa does have brunch Saturdays and Sundays. So they do have a brunch at Mariposa. So if you're in town, I'm sure that's going to be a lot of people in there in the next couple of days. Grits Cafe, that's another one of my place, but Grits Cafe is no longer open on Sundays. So they're closed on Sundays now. The owner Trina wanted to have her workers have family time and go to church or whatever else they do. So Grits Cafe is now closed on Sundays now. Other than
That's
that, like I said, you'd have to just Google different things. I'm going out. It's my daughter's birthday, so she started this thing called Mama Bration, where she celebrates herself when her kid's birthday. So I told her I was going to start doing that and celebrating when my kid's birthday. So today is her birthday. I'm meeting a friend, going out to dinner, but we're going out to the Westgate. So the Westgate is having live music. It's free. They do charge $20 now for valet, but other than that, they have self parking. So there's so many events coming up. I will just put a plug in here for this because people have been asking me about this. The City of Lights Jazz Festival. Okay, we have the City of Lights Jazz Festival here every year, but the gentleman that does the City of Lights Jazz Festival has now taken over the Soul Fest. Okay. Soul Fest used to be other places, but he is taking on Soul Fest. Soul Fest will be here for the first time in Las Vegas. Okay. So September 20th and 24th is going to be Soul Fest. Tickets are online. I think it's still the same thing. City of Lights Soul Fest. You can go on there and look. Saturday
so.
and
Is
Sunday they
this
have
gonna
some
be
amazing lineups.
is this gonna be a weekend event or a
A
4 day
weekend
event?
event. No, just a weekend event, Saturday and Sunday. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
jazz and R&B. So yeah, so Saturday it's Erin Anderson, I believe that's her name. It is Mary Meadows. It is Damien Escobar. It is Howard Hewitt,
Howard
and closing out
Hewitt.
Howard Hewitt. I'm excited about seeing Howard Hewitt live finally, and Joe, and it's closing out with Joe, and I think hopefully I'm not missing nobody. But anyway, you can go look on my line or my Facebook, or you can go to City of Lights too. It shows you on there. But Sunday, I can't remember all the names for Sunday, but I know it is Layla Hathaway and Music Soul Child is closing out on Sunday. So that's the festival. I told Jeffrey Osborne. I'm sorry, Jeffrey Osborne is coming to the Cannery. Babyface shows started back up. I saw New Edition. New Edition shows have started back up. Boys to Men are starting back up. Bruno Mars is starting back up. And somebody else is coming, but I
What
know
about Earth, Wind,
Jeffrey
and
Oz.
Fire?
Earth, Wind, and Fire is starting back up in October. So their shows are going to be starting back up. Backstreet Boys is doing the Sphere, so they stopped now because now the Wizard of Oz is going on the Sphere, but they'll be back New Year's Day, New Year's Eve that week, and then they're doing some shows in February for Valentine's Day week. So Google the stuff online, and like I said, I'll try to keep you posted on what's going on. But that's it for the Labor Day weekend. Just Google Labor Day weekend events, and a whole lot of things pop up.
Okay, and so before we go, what are your recommendations in going to a show? Buy tickets in advance or buy the day of the show? Because you bought tickets the day of the show and got a great price and great seats.
Yeah, it just depends on where you're going. But yeah, that was Janet Jackson. I went down Janet Jackson, and yes, I bought Janet Jackson tickets. Went down there and bought them from the box office because one thing, it depends on where you like to sit. I do not like sitting on the floor. I like sitting in the balcony, the first row, preferably on the end. So Janet, I went down there and I got the second row on the end though, and it was only $50 to see Janet Jackson. I've seen her before in Seattle, but it was still amazing to see her. So that's another show that's coming back. Janet's coming back. Show is amazing. Okay, um, Janet is a good show, but yeah, you can always do walk up and see at the box office too, and see if they have any tickets at there. I mean, somebody was pricing Chris Brown. There's still tickets. Chris Brown is coming here September 19th and 20th. There's still tickets for that. Some of my co-workers were looking. They still have floor tickets for the 19th. That's Friday night. But yeah, there were $600 down front. That is, I'm not paying that, but that's still a good price to see Chris Brown up front on the floor. $600, but some shows can be pricey, but you can always, yeah, it doesn't hurt if you're not sure you want to go or whatever, you want to try to wait. It does not hurt to get go down there to the box office and day of and see if you can work out some kind of deals. If you're not picky about your seat, and I'm gonna tell you, most places down here in Vegas, uh, every place is good. See, I have not been to any place I've been. I have not. There really is no bad seat. So it just depends on, like I say, how close you want to be. And sometimes you get them stand up tickets too, what they call the pit. If you want to stand up for 3 and 4 hours, you can get those too. So.
That's for the young people, girl.
Oh yeah, because I told you I got stuck. Two of them stand up concerts. I will not be doing that again. But it was all right. But yeah, that was not my cup of tea. I need to sit down.
Right. My friend Sheila, she doesn't like the stand up tickets either.
No, no. So I got that when I went to the one concert, Duran, um, and then when I went to see Robin Thicke. But that Robin Thicke, I knew that was going to be stand up because that was at down in Fremont, so that was standing up. But yeah, other than that, I'm not ever doing a stand up in a venue. I won't say ever, but yeah, that's not my thing. I need to sit down and relax.
Right. Well, thank you for your time. I hope you have a great night out. And we'll see everybody next week. God bless you, Net. And I'll talk to you later.
Okay, everybody have a blessed night. Be safe. Be safe over the weekend.
All right. Talk
All
to you
right.
later.
Okay.